Being recorded.
Okay, you ready?
All right, Tara, the floor is yours. The question is, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess. Whatever, right?
Okay,
Um,
exactly.
so the theme of the TEDx event is creativity through adversity. And the title of my talk is Gratitude, the Foundation of Confidence.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nation of Confidence. Very good. Powerful, powerful title. I like it.
Yeah, very
And it's
catchy
very
too, right?
much in line with my own thinking. I'll tell you afterwards when you are done. But
Oh,
now
cool.
the floor is yours,
Okay.
Tara.
All right. I like to start off with a little humor, break the ice. Let's start this talk with a series of uncomfortable questions. Does that sound like a plan? So I'm going to rattle off a list, and at the end, I want you to raise your hand if you have experienced any of these things. Low self-esteem, imposter syndrome, negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, or general lack of self-confidence. Yep, I'm being honest. But look around the room. You'll see that you're not so alone after all, and unconfidence could look like any of us. Now that you know you're not alone, let's explore an idea together. Is there a foundation for confidence? Now, everything requires a strong foundation to grow, become established, and developed. In construction, a foundation provides stability and support for the entire structure. The foundation ensures that it can withstand external forces such as wind, weather, earthquakes, or settling. Even in personal development and professional fields, complex tasks or concepts have foundational elements from which they are built upon. Clearly, it's important to learn the basics before advancing on to more complex tasks or concepts. And confidence is no different. But in order for us to build confidence, we need a strong and stable foundation. The problem is that confidence is elusive for many people. According to a study done by Psychology Today, an astounding 85% of the world's global population has low self-esteem. And chances are, if you've experienced outside forces in your life, such as failures, hardships, adversities, abuse, or even trauma, and who hasn't, the foundation for building your confidence could be impacted. And if we don't have a strong foundation built, it can lead to a whole host of other problems, including a lack of success or missed opportunities in life. Just as the foundation holds the building together, we as well need a strong foundation to gain and retain confidence. Now, if you're like me and you've read any number of self-help or success books on the market, you will likely notice a common thread and theme between them. The word gratitude is often mentioned somewhere, if not in multiple chapters. I started realizing this correlation and began asking myself what role gratitude played in all of this and why it was important in gaining confidence and eventually success. I needed to understand this information because for my entire life, for as long as I can remember, I have battled with a lack of self-confidence. I was desperate to solve my lifelong struggle that began in childhood. Growing up in poverty as the youngest child of 5 raised by a single mother was far from an easy start in life. I haven't seen my father since I was 14 years old, and I've gone my entire life without hearing the words, I love you from him. When you grow up in fear, poverty, scarcity, or lack parental stability, it can change the actual physiology of a child's developing brain. And here's an important part. It reinforces a belief system that what you are experiencing, you are deserving of. Feelings of shame, embarrassment, and isolation further work to undermine a child's sense of self-assuredness, making it difficult for them to trust in their own abilities. And I was no exception to this. And at times, my shame ran so deep that it felt inescapable. As a child, speaking in front of the class would have been my biggest fear. And to be honest, I still get butterflies when I even think about speaking on stage, especially now. But if my teacher were to call on me during class, my face would get red, my voice would crack. It would actually close down completely. I don't know how that's possible, but it really would happen that way. Tears would well up in my eyes and I would run to the bathroom and cry. It was not a pretty sight. It terrified me to be seen or heard, and I had close to zero confidence. And with each passing year, I faded into the background more and more. And this lack of confidence carried with me throughout my entire life, even into adulthood. My career suffered. I was unable to negotiate my salary. I couldn't speak up during meetings, and I felt like I had to wear a mask everywhere I went. And let me ask, does that resonate with any of you? Despite being highly educated, I made less than my peers. And after experiencing multiple toxic workplaces in a row, I finally broke. I thought my life had no meaning, and I didn't want to live unconfidently anymore. It was such an exhausting existence to question my worth in every possible scenario. But even though confidence seemed elusive to me at the time, I knew that in order to have a greater sense of happiness, fulfillment, and success, I needed confidence. But how do you develop confidence when you don't feel like you have any? And when it feels as if the very foundation for your confidence is sinking into the ground beneath you? Good question, right? Well, at this point, I went on a journey of self-discovery that changed the trajectory of my life completely and led me to this TEDx stage today in Nottingham, England, less than 2 years after hitting my version of rock bottom due to a lifelong battle with low self-confidence. And I've broken these into 3 steps that I would like to share with you today. Step number 1. Confidence is built on a foundation of gratitude, and by having gratitude for your past and for the person that you were. Once I began to have gratitude for my past, I started to understand that all of my experiences were leading me to a deeper purpose and meaning. But I want to emphasize that it has been scientifically proven that gratitude increases the neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin in our brains, which are the feel-good chemicals, right? But it also has the capability of rewiring our brains. And here's the other really important part. If we can rewire our brains, we can form new beliefs. And if we can form new beliefs, we can begin to break cycles and become confident. I began to realize that while poverty, alcoholism, addiction, or abuse could all be generational cycles, so could a lack of confidence. And as someone who is a mother of a young daughter, the last thing I wanted was for her to grow up not achieving her dreams, not asking what she is worth, not believing in herself, and not being confident. I knew I needed to make this change and break this cycle because I believed in her. But through gratitude, I finally began to believe in myself. I began to learn the importance of looking back on the past with gratitude and for the lessons taught and how it shaped me and molded me into who I am today. And this leads us to step number 2. Have gratitude for the person that you are. Now, the best determinator of future success is present action. We can't act in the past, and the future is yet to be determined. But what we all have control of are our actions at this present moment. Gratitude helps propel you into action and make change possible. I realized that while I had a difficult childhood, that was no longer my reality. My reality now was a strong woman who, despite all odds, adversities, and obstacles, was overcoming her challenges and facing her fears. And once I understood how far I had actually come in life, I started to understand how much further I could go and how much further we could all go with the right mindset. But you need to focus and keep that confident version of yourself at the forefront of your mind. As Marion Wright Edelman once said, you can't be what you can't see. So see the confident version of yourself that you want to become. Visualize that person in your mind, see them with your eyes, and believe it in your heart. Have gratitude that the most confident version of yourself already exists within you. And through gratitude, that person will be revealed. And this leads us to step number 3. Have gratitude for the person you are becoming. Write down and assign attributes of what your most confident version of yourself looks like, acts like, how they dress, how they hold their body posture, what activities do they do, and whom do they associate with. Write down and assign these attributes, and then take steps to become that person you envision. Every day, wake up and imagine yourself becoming more confident, and then put in the action to become that person. When we think creatively by pairing action with vision and gratitude, it works to build a foundation to support sustained confidence. Remember that the foundation of success is confidence, but the foundation of confidence is gratitude. Through thought, the things we want are created. It is with action that we receive them, but it is only through gratitude that we keep them. Thank you. That's it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Good. Okay.
Good. Good. Very good.
Awesome.
How do you feel? How do you feel? Like you've done this now many times, right? How satisfied were you with today's performance?
I think it was good. I think it was
Yes.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing about it is, I know it's the right message because I get inspired every time I say it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I get inspired, and I've said it
You get it.
100 times,
You
somebody
get it.
hearing it for the first time is definitely going to be inspired.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So I love it. I love the structure, the way that you are lining it up. You're using the time very well to set the stage, to build that foundation for your message, right? That when the message is coming out, we're all primed and prepped and very powerful. Very powerful. I got goosebumps at one or two moments.
Really?
And yep, and there are a couple of things that I want to mention, right? Because that's why
Sure.
we are here.
Yep.
You became better and better and better as time went on.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Like at the very beginning, it was like a little good, good. But as time went on, you became more emotional. You became more kind of like vested,
Mm-hmm.
where at one point you almost started to cry
Mm-hmm.
in the last like 2-3 minutes. And it's that kind of stuff that gives goosebumps to people because they can feel it, especially when you're there in the room. I mean, if I get this reaction here on the screen, right? Imagine what this will be doing for the people that are sitting there. Now, the one thing that did not work 100% for me, but I don't want to recommend too many changes on the content, is actually the beginning.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know.
it's
I'm
that.
right there
It's
with
that.
you. It's the beginning.
Let's start this talk with that. To me, it's not the bang that this deserves. So what I encourage you to do is think very, very carefully about how can you what what you want to do every time you're talking, right, is to build that common ground, to build that rapport with people, right?
Mhm.
And I wonder, what can you do? What can you say that immediately gets us to like you and become curious about what you're gonna do? Curiosity. I love how you're building these, when you said success is the foundation of confidence, and confidence, uh, let's see, success is the foundation of confidence, and gratitude is,
Gratitude is the foundation. Yep. Hmm.
yes, 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 yes. Um, so that's really your main message, right? And I don't want to put any suggestions on the table right now. I want to encourage you to just think about those first couple of seconds. First couple. I loved when you then said, show me your hands and look around the room, right? This kind of engagement, perfect. You said look around the room at second 35, right? And so it's up to that point. I would say listen to the recording again and
Okay.
think carefully about the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds. I am more than convinced that you come up with an opener, a hook that will make people lean forward immediately, right? Let me share my absolute favorite opener of all speeches that I have ever seen, and this was at the World Championship of Public Speaking, and this was the
Hmm.
winning speech in 2015. You may have seen it. It's a guy called Mohammed Khatani, and he talked about the power of words. And I
Hmm.
encourage you to watch actually that speech because it is a world champion. Of all the world champion speeches I've heard, I consider this one the absolute best. What did he do to hook the audience immediately? And you cannot do this, right? Because you're also limited to the red dot, right? You cannot leave the space. So you have a little bit limited range. But in his case, he walked up to the stage. He got introduced, walked up to the stage, stood there, looked around quickly, and then he put his hand into his pocket, took out a pack of cigarettes, took out the cigarette, put it in his mouth, took a lighter, and took the lighter like half an inch away from the cigarette. And at that point, he kind of like looked up and went like, "What?" Kind of like, because people were shocked. This is a shock opener, right? So you
Yeah.
have different openers, and this one was so tremendously effective because number one, Nobody expects anybody today in a public space to take out the cigarette and start to light it, right? That's like so unexpected. But even more so, it caused people to wonder, where is this going, right? The speech is called The Power of Words. And here comes a guy out and he wants to start to smoke. And then he started to, again, I encourage you, I will send you the link to this talk. It's only 7 minutes, but it's absolutely, because you can learn a lot from Mohammed also when it comes to pausing and so on. However, I wanted to make a comment about pausing as well. You pause very well.
Thank you.
Pause very, very well. In some cases, again, go back to the recording, in some cases, you could pause even a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because when you pause, for you as the speaker, the pause seems way longer than it actually is, right? It's like this awkward silence and you want to move on, right? But you could pause in some cases a little bit longer. Whenever you're making a really profound point, and whenever you're kind of like shifting the topic a little bit, right? When you're moving from one part to the next part, pause even longer. Your pauses are great, or your pauses are good. Pause a little longer, and they will be great.
Okay.
One moment of that was where I made a comment and said more dramatic pause is around minute 5, when you said, I was afraid of speaking on stage, even now, right? To make sure that people understand, okay, this is about really now, right? And by prolonging the pause a little bit and looking around, right? Even now, right? And do a gesture, something like, that will help you as well.
Okay.
Then again, you're very, very limited in space because that red dot is not so big. But for example, when you say faded into the background, minute about 5:40-ish or so, faded into the background, take a small little step back or just lean back, right? But show it with your body when you say the words, right? Faded into the background and just slight little movement back. You don't have to go far, I loved when you said, let me ask you, does this resonate with you? And I would put the you even stronger, put more emphasis on the you. And then about a minute later, you're talking about sinking into the ground. Right? Also there, this calls for a gesture, for a full body gesture, right? Like sinking into the ground. You don't need to go too far, right? But just sinking into the ground.
Okay.
Okay. And then you said something, this is a little bit a pet peeve of mine, when people says, there are 3 steps I'd like to share with you. Like to share with you? Are you not going to share them?
Okay. Okay.
Do you see where I'm going, right? You can be way more direct here, way more. And I have 3 steps for you that will make a difference in your life.
Ooh.
Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, right? Something like that.
I'm going to write that down.
And again, I don't want to change your words too much or too, but there are some moments like that, I think, where you can be more direct and, more direct.
Okay.
And then, sorry?
No, you go ahead.
And then around minute 9:20, 9:19 or so, this is when you showed such a powerful display of emotion. When you talk about, through gratitude, I began believing in myself, right? And that, leverage it. And look again at the recording and try to get that level of emotion also into the first half of it. with everything you got. I know you know how to do it. You know how to use your body, your face, your voice. You're master of vocal variety here, so very good. And then my last note that I have here, and this is so powerful, it's your third step. Gratitude for the person you are becoming.
Yes.
That is so powerful, Tara. That is unbelievable. And you know what makes it so powerful? It's unexpected. People after the first two, they are expecting something else. They don't know what's coming. They might be, but I would be hard pressed to find somebody that says, you are gonna talk about who you're becoming, right? So
Yep.
I have to say, Tara, this is unbelievable. I was a little bit concerned because I know you're on the 15th, right?
Yeah.
15th?
18.
Yeah.
18.
18. Okay. So I was a little bit concerned when you hopped on my calendar for today. I was like, oh my God, is it, do we have enough time? But oh boy, you're done. You're absolutely, what you can do if you want to is think about some of the things that I said, incorporate maybe that small little change there with the, I'd like to, and make it more direct. More emotions and so on. And then feel free to just record it and send me the recording and say, hey, what do you think? Better now? And I will certainly give more comments there. And you can also always hop on my calendar again if you need some last minute pep talk or because I know how it is. And so if you have people around you that okay, they are on my side, they're part of my team, and from now on, it's really all about your mental state. You've got the message. It rolls off your tongue so naturally. There is no, sometimes I hear people reading their script internal, from an internal, you can tell and say, okay, they wrote that script and then they memorized that script and now the memorization is coming out. That wasn't the case with you. You are such a natural. And now it's really just get the state and the nerves and so on, and the closer it gets, once you're sitting in the airplane, you're landing in London, you're getting into the hotel, and that's when it hits you, and you go like, oh, fuck,
I know.
what did I get myself into here, And you just pull through, and again, if you need any help, right, feel free, get on my calendar, send me an email, ping me on LinkedIn and say, Claudio, come on, hold my hand. I will
Well,
be
I
happy
appreciate
to do
it
that
because
for you.
this is my third public speech I've ever done. That's it.
Only.
Yes.
You are such a natural. You are such a natural, Tara.
When I tell
Wow.
you it was my biggest fear, I really mean it.
Wow. This is unbelievable. And I also have to say your topic, right? Your topic, I can send you, but I don't want to send you too many links because you have other things to do with your time. But I once gave a very, very short, like a 7-minute talk at like a Toastmasters club, right? You're familiar with Toastmasters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the topic or the title of the speech was 3 tips for a happy life or something like that, right? And my first tip was help others, right? And because this was in Thailand, Thai people are really, really good and helpful people, right? So I could use this as, hey, this is number 1 tip, but you are all actually, the world champions in that. The second tip was stay out of debt, right? Do not buy stuff, for the sake of buying stuff. If you have debt from your home, that's okay, but any consumer items or cars or anything like that, it's like going to your boss and say, hey, give me less money at the end of the month, because that's what happens when you're taking a credit, right? And then the third one was keep a gratitude journal. And I explain basically that, I say something about, and do that as the last thing before you go to sleep. Because, and I'm not talking about, writing Gone with the Wind or something, but just like 1 or 2 words, like think about, reflect on your day, and go like, oh yeah, this person was really kind to me because they opened the door when I had my hands full with my grocery bags. Or,
Mhm.
you know, whatever. My partner brought out the trash, and I'm so grateful that, you know, we didn't have to talk about that or whatever, right? It's like, but just short little statements like that just before you drift off to sleep. You can put them in your phone, or, you know, and if you do that on a daily basis, you always will go to sleep spinning the positive thoughts, because we are so bombarded with so much negative news. And I can tell when I talk to people, I can tell which kind of people are the ones that watch news until they
Yes.
fall asleep, right? Because those are the grumpy ones, those are the fearful ones, those are the ones that see the doomsday coming and whatever, right? And then I see people that put their focus on gratitude and helping others, and those are the happy, happy, joy, joy people, you know? It's,
Yep. That's
yep,
right.
yep. Now, the thing that I want to ask you as well, and I know we are a little bit over time here, I think, um, but uh, you know, I had that live show on YouTube that I do
Yeah.
every week.
Uh-huh.
I would like to have you as a guest there.
Of
I
course.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, I just changed the format. Before we were like two co-hosts, now it's only one host. But I did something that made it so engaging. We had the first episode yesterday, and it was amazing. People stayed from the beginning to the end because I tied in some kind of a who wants to be a millionaire kind of trivia every so often, right? So I had like five trivia questions like that for the audience out there that were at the same time the prompts for my guest and me. Where do we want to go with the discussion, right? And it was so good, and I would love to have you as a guest talking about gratitude.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of
Yep.
my favorite
We
topics, so I'd love to
do
talk
that
about it.
after your TED talk and so on.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you are ready. You are ready,
Yeah,
Tara.
it's just the beginning. And you know why? It's because I had a beginning and then somebody said I should probably change it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the talk was pretty much as is. So I memorized
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
that's why I'm
Yep.
so confident at the rest of my talk. It's the beginning.
Yep.
I don't know. And it's like, I'm at the point now, I don't know how to make it better. And I know it
Okay.
needs to be better and I can't figure
Okay.
it out.
Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Take the weekend. Take the weekend to just relax, relax, and then come up with a couple different angles. How could you do the first few seconds, right? Other than let's start with. That's the part that I went like, there can be something better. So take the weekend, brainstorm with yourself, with your you're married, you said before, your husband,
Mhm.
or yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So brainstorm it a little bit with your husband, and then come back on Monday or Tuesday. Hop on my calendar when we hang up here. Book another schedule another. It's getting late. Hop on my calendar for Monday or Tuesday, and we'll then, maybe you have something where I go, perfect, okay, and I will do a little bit of my own thinking just in case you come on Monday or Tuesday and say, you know what, we raked our noodles and nothing came out. Maybe I can help you there as well. But
Okay.
I know you have a better opening already inside of you. It's just a
There's a
question of
reason why
bringing it
I'm
out.
having struggle with it. It's because
Hmm.
it's not the right one. I just don't know what that
Right,
is yet.
right. It'll come to you. It'll come to you
Okay.
before you
Well,
know
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you. Do you mind if I take a screenshot so I can
Not
share
at
this
all.
experience and tag you in a post?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Cool. That
Okay.
way I'll just say like, hey, met with Claudio. I'm trying to document my journey. I just think it's cool.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
This is such an important thing, and it will be a life changer for you, right? It will be a life changer. This talk, the way that I have heard it now, has the potential to gather, hundred thousands, if not millions of views. It does have that potential.
That's
clearly.
what I'm shooting for.
Yep. Yep.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank
Very
you
good.
so much for your belief in me.
Oh, that doesn't even take any effort from my side. It's such an easy one.
Shark Tank's next.
All right, Tara, I wish you a very, very good weekend, and we'll see each
Oh.
other again sometimes early next week.
All
Okay?
right. That sounds good. Thank you, Claudio. Bye.
See you. Bye. Bye bye.